Welcome back, MOVATI yogis. My name's Stephanie, and I'm going to be leading you through a 45-minute power and flow class today. Today's flow is going to be a little bit different. I guess you could call it a bit of a slow flow. It's going to be one that's focused on a type of yoga called prana vinyasa, meaning prana, the energy that runs through our body. So we're going to do a lot of breath work and a lot of movement linking to that breath, getting into that natural rhythm, moving with our breath. So it's going to be a really fun class, one where you don't need a lot of props, but I always encourage you to have some nearby so that you can modify as needed. Perhaps some blocks, as we will be doing a little bit of a balancing pyramid pose, as well as perhaps a strap, because we will be doing some interlaced hands behind the back. So if the shoulders are feeling a little tight, feel free to be able to have that strap that we can hold in between the hands here, or a belt, scarf, a sock even, anything that'll work for you. We will spend a little bit of time though on the knees at the beginning of practice. So if the kneecaps are a bit sensitive, perhaps grabbing a towel or blanket that you can roll up and place down as just an extra bit of padding. Well, I hope you'll join me on this prana vinyasa practice, and when you're ready, let's meet on the mat. So coming down onto the mat into a comfortable seated position here, however that looks for you. Maybe it's ankles crossed one in front of another, maybe it's tucking one ankle underneath like I'm doing here, or maybe even grabbing one of your blocks, placing it under the hips so that you have that elevated hip and the knees can fall down and open from it. Finding that position that allows you to be comfortable, and then allow yourself to settle into the practice. Perhaps the eyes begin to soften, the gaze, maybe even close. Allow yourself to come home here on the mat. Noticing that when we pause, when we come into the stillness, automatically the breath starts to become deeper and longer. Say, allow for there to be a pause or a break between what came before we got on our mats, and create space and being open to what will come. This is going to be a playful practice, one that allows you to explore different shapes and movements in your body. So removing judgment of yourself, allowing your body to just flow and explore. Perhaps checking in with your heart, maybe even bringing one palm onto your heart. Asking, reflecting of yourself, how does my heart feel today? A little bit longer. Your exhale out of the mouth a little bit deeper. Slowly start to blink, open the eyes. And then we're going to come onto hero pose. So a little shift here. You can come forward if you want, coming onto hands and knees. We're going to put the shins flat down on the mat. I'll turn sideways here so you can see. So tops of the feet can be flat down. And in this hero pose, we're sinking the hips directly over top of the heels. So sit bones are connecting with the heels. Option to place a block in between the ankles, giving you a little bit more support in the hips, might be gentler on the knees. You can always place a rolled up towel underneath the flat part of the ankles here, or maybe curl the toes under for a bit more support, but that is intense toe stretch. You will feel intense stretch through the fascia. Once you're settled into your version of hero, let's place the palms down on top of the knees. chest gently opens up in front. And then inhale, reach the arms up overhead, palms are facing forward. Exhale, gentle bend in the elbows, arms come out to the sides, but those elbows and shoulder blades drop back. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, float them down onto the knees and round through the back. Inhale, arms floating up. Exhale, drifting down, open the chest. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, rounding, folding down. Move at the pace of your breath here. It's okay if the count's a little bit different off of mine. Move with your breath. Allow each movement of the arms to last the entire length of your inhale, and then exhale. Arms and hands are light, that floating, lifting sensation as we rise. Exhale, gently coming down. Go once more. Inhale, floating palms up. Exhale, releasing out to the sides. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, this time we're going to hold here and let the right hand float down onto the mat. I'm going to turn to face you here. That left arm starts to slowly reach over top towards the right side, coming into a side bend. Now I want you to have some space for that right elbow to be able to bend, whether that means you need to come up onto fingertips to get the bend or even onto a block. With that bend in the elbow, we're then going to press the right arm straight, opening up through the side body on those left ribs. Noticing instead of a gentle arc, we're going to create a more powerful arc across the side body. Maybe gaze spirals up. Inhale, draw both arms up overhead. Exhale, left hand floats down. Right arm gently starts reaching up. The hips are anchored down on onto the heels. Allow yourself to have a bit of space through that left elbow. And then once we're bowed over, extend that left arm, pushing, reaching those side right ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe even spiral the gaze up as well. And then inhale, rise up, both hands come overhead. Exhale, draw the palms together at heart center, holding the hands here. Fingers can be spread, pressing into their opposite. Pausing here in the stillness to set an intention for our practice, for our day. That intention can be a word, an emotion, perhaps a mantra that you have. Invite this intention to guide you through the practice and through your day. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, palms together. And then exhale, we'll float the hands down onto the mat this time, lifting the hips up, coming into tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to inhale, roll all the way up, coming to stand on top of the knees. Toes now can tuck under if they're not already. If tops of the feet are feeling a little sleepy, you can pat them down on top of the mat. Option here to start with the hands either on the waist, or if it's available, bring the fingers onto the low back, fingers pointing up, and draw the elbows in, chest opening up forward. Resist the urge to bring the gaze up into a back bend. Let's keep the gaze forward and then tucking the tailbone under. So feeling the core engage, lots of length. On an exhale, we're going to start to lean back. You decide how far. Inhale, rising up. Pull those elbows back still. Exhale, quadriceps are firing, holding us up. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean. One last time, guys. Inhale, come up. Elbows are drawing back. Exhale, lean back. Inhale all the way. And exhale, come down to hands and knees, tabletop position. Moving through some cat-cows. So on the inhale, let the belly sink down, head and tailbone rise. Exhale, curl under. Let that movement originate from the pelvis, ending with movement through the head. Another opportunity to find synchronicity of movement with breath here. Going at your rhythm, your pace. Adding in any movements that feel good. Perhaps a little bend to the elbows as we inhale through cow, head and tailbone rise. And then exhale, lifting, curling the tailbone under, create that rainbow shape. Once more, inhale, arching through the back, lifting. Exhale, curl under. Changing it up a little bit here. On that next inhale for our cow, peel the heels up towards the seat. And then exhale, press tops of the feet down. Maybe knees lift as we round. Inhale, arching through the back, lifting the heels up. Exhale, pressing down, knees lift. Keep flowing and moving. Inhale, lifting up. Maybe eyes even closed. Exhale, pressing the feet down, rounding. Inhale, 2 more. Heels come up. Exhale, pressing down. Last one. Inhale, peeling up. Exhale, pressing, lifting the knees. Bring the knees back down. Curl the toes under. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the knees up. Knees are bent as we push through the arms, bringing the spine nice and long. Send the hips back. And then the heels make their way down onto the mat. I always say feel free to adjust your stance. Maybe the feet need to walk a little bit closer towards the hands. You can stay in stillness here, or maybe invite movement into your down dog, alternating, pedaling out the legs, maybe bringing feet to touch, rolling the heels side to side. When you're able to, coming back to that stillness. And then bring big toes to touch. You can keep the heels flat or maybe reach up onto the balls of the feet. Inhale, sweep the right leg up into the sky. 3-legged down dog. Exhale, bend that right knee, opening, rolling the hips up. We can stay on the ball of the left foot or bring that left heel down. Just working on opening up the hip here. So really leading with that right knee up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lengthen the right leg. Exhale, let's step that right foot forward in between the hands, coming down. Left knee comes down onto the mat as well. So this is going to be more of a 90-degree low lunge. So instead of that left knee as far back as we can, let's bring it a little bit closer to being underneath the hip. You can always roll this long edge of the mat over on that left side under the knee. Inhale, reaching, sweeping up. Exhale, pause here. Notice how we come right up into our lunge. Can we tuck in on the lower abdominals and lean forward slightly, but not bowing the hips forward? Can we lean just the torso forward? Ooh, feel the glutes start to engage. Flip the palms forward, thinking almost like bull horns reaching forward. And if that's the mudra you want to take in your hands, feel free. On an exhale, pull the elbows down, just like we did in our hero pose. Inhale, reaching forward, maintaining that lean. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, this time let's pull that left heel up towards the seat. Inhale, foot down, arms up. Exhale, drawing down. 2 more. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, contracting, pulling back. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract here. And we're going to extend the arms down. So palms are facing down. Fingertips reaching back. We're still drawing that heel in towards our glutes. And then imagine the pinky fingers were magnets. Can we feel that magnetizing force pulling the outer edges of the hands closer together? Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold down, hands inside of the right foot. Curl the left toes, lift that left leg up, and walk along that left side of the mat into a wide-legged forward fold. Bringing the heels out slightly wider than the toes, allowing the legs a slight internal rotation. That also means that the pelvis will be sent into a forward fold. If it's a bit early for the hamstrings, feel free to stay here in a lengthening position, crown of the head reaching forward, hands on the mat or on the blocks. Or on an exhale, perhaps finding space to bow the head down, crown of the head reaching. If elbows are bent, we can bring them in line with the heels, or maybe walking the hands out onto the big toes, looping the peace fingers here, giving a gentle pull through the arms, bowing the head down. Inhale, slowly lifting up to that extended half lift. Exhale, start to walk the feet forward towards the top of the mat once more. Left knee comes down into that low lunge shape. And then slide the right leg back to meet, coming into tabletop position. But this table, we're going to come down onto the forearms if possible. We can stay on the hands if need be. Let's move through a cat-cow. Inhale, belly sinks, head, tailbone rise. Exhale, curling under, lifting up. Let's add in the legs like earlier. Inhale through cow, belly sinks, heels lift. Exhale, as we round, can we hover the knees off of the mat? 2 more. Inhale, rounding, lifting. Exhale, pressing down, lift the knees. Inhale, sink the belly, lifting up. Exhale, pressing down, knees lift. Inhale, come back to table. We'll walk the feet out, coming into forearm plank. And then exhale, release down all the way onto the mat. We're going to come into Sphinx pose. So let's draw those elbows underneath the shoulders. Forearms down, palms flat in front. And on an inhale, imagine you could draw the chest forward, in between the biceps, coming forward, lifting up, neck is nice and tall. And then on an exhale, can we bend the heels in towards the seat? We'll still actively pulling. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bending it in. Inhale, lying the legs down. Exhale, contract, maybe even the knees float up a bit. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Inhale, lengthen down, lower. Slide the hands under the shoulders, elbows pull in. Exhaling one time, and then inhale to lift up, either through table or reverse push up to plank. Downward facing dog is where we'll meet. Taking one deep inhale here, and exhale. Bringing the big toes to touch. Inhale, left leg this time, reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bending the knee, rolling the hips open, working towards stacking them, but not quite leading with the foot. Let that left knee lifting up lead. Gaze is still nice and long, looking behind that right shin. Inhale, lengthen left leg. Exhale, step it forward. In between the hands, our 90-degree lunge here. So bringing the knee a little bit closer underneath the hips, top of the foot flat. Inhale, rising up. Noticing we're in that complete upright position. Can we engage the lower belly and slowly hinge forward through just the torso, not the hips bending down. Palms face forward, bull horns if you like. And then exhale, draw the elbows down. Not quite cactus arms though, staying a bit wide. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knee, pull the heel into the seat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it all back. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, drawing it back. Inhale, lengthen one more time. Exhale, drawing, and we're gonna hold this time. We can keep the arms as they are or extend the fingertips back. That magnetic draw between the pinkies, opening the chest up. Maybe gaze comes a little bit higher. And then inhale, extend the arms, release the foot. Exhale, fold the hands down. Curl the right toes. Inhale, lift that right leg. Exhale, walk over right side of the mat. Toes are pointing in. Inhale, halfway lift one time. Exhale, allow that core emptying the belly, drawing the belly in. The thighs contracting towards the torso. Hands can be on blocks, giving some more support. If the hamstrings have opened up a bit, maybe allowing gravity to pull the crown of the head down. Again, hands can walk out towards the ankles, maybe peace fingers on the big toes. Every exhale, opportunity to soften, sinking down a bit deeper. Noticing if the weight is being evenly distributed between the front and the back of the foot. Can we wiggle the toes, making sure we equally distribute? What about the legs and hips? Maybe allowing the hips to move side to side a little here, making sure that we're not allowing a stronger, tighter side to dominate and hold more of the weight. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walking the hands forward towards the top of the mat. That low lunge, right knee comes down, but we're gonna sweep the left knee beside, coming back into our tabletop position. Forearm cat-cows, drop the elbows and forearms down. Option to do the legs right from the beginning. We're only gonna go through 2. Inhale, heels come up, tailbone, head rise. Exhale, pressing the feet down, knees lift, core lifts. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, pressing down, lifting up. Inhale, coming out into our forearm plank, extending the legs back, torso hovers. And then exhale, melting down onto the mat. Inhale, slowly peeling up into our Sphinx pose. Elbows under the shoulder, gazes forward. We're thinking here about drawing forward towards the mat, not pushing back into a back bend. And then slowly let the elbows flare out to the sides. And I want you to inhale, reaching the arms forward like a superhero flying through the air. And then maybe we alternate one leg to float and then the other. If you want, inhale, all 4 limbs reaching in opposite directions. And then palms flip down. Exhale, draw the fingertips back, heels come in towards the seat. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, drawing up and back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, lengthen one more time. And then exhale, this time as we draw back, flip the palms inwards so thumbs are pointing down, and maybe the hands can grab onto the shins or tops of the feet. You can always use a strap, looping it around the front of the shins for extra length, or simply stay here in the unconnected version. Inhale if we've got the grab, pressing feet into hands, I should say. Arching, lifting up. Staying lifted here in the breath, feeling that gentle rocking of our ship on the ocean. Can we press a little bit higher, rolling forward onto the belly, and then rolling back onto the pelvis, onto the thighs. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, release the legs, stack the palms, let the forehead rest down. A neutral, safe line for the spine. Allowing as we come through these back bends for brief moments of neutrality, not necessarily jumping into counter poses at the end. And then inhale, lift the head. Let's slide the hands under the shoulders, elbows pull in, toes curl under. Inhale to lift however you want, up and back. Downward facing dog is where we'll meet. Taking a deep exhale as we arrive. Followed by a replenishing inhale through the nose. On your next inhale, bending the knees, gaze comes forward, step, hop, or walk the feet forward to meet the hands at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweeping the arms up, overhead, baby back bend. Exhale, palms come down, heart center. Can we recall that intention we set at the beginning of our practice? Have we forgotten it? If we can hold on to that emotion, that phrase, drawing power and motivation from it. And then on our next inhale, sweeping the arms up, overhead. Right hand is going to grab onto the left wrist and then gently pull that left arm over towards the right side. Still rooting firmly down into that left leg, but also through the right leg, creating space and strength through that right side as we bend. Inhale, come back to center. Releasing the left hand, but keep that left arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Sweep the right hand down along the side as the heel kicks up towards the seat. We can stay here. Coming through into dancer, maybe without that connection. We can also hold the heel into the seat, coming into a great quad stretch. Inhale, start to bow the chest forward. We can always grab a strap, using it here as well. It's no race. As the chest bows forward, left hand leads, holding onto that right leg, gently pushing the right foot into the hand. Perhaps reaching and lifting that thigh towards the ceiling. With a bit more grace than that. Inhale, slowly come back to standing, knees side by side. Inhale, both arms come overhead, draw that right knee in front, and then wrap the fingers, interlace across the shin, hugging the knee into chest. Inhale, arms come up once more. Stepping back into our high lunge, all the way back onto the ball of that right foot. Inhale, we rise up as we arrive, but once again, can we hinge forward, that 45 degrees, lower abdominal engagement. Exhale, draw the arms and elbows back. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, we can't float that left leg up, but imagine drawing that left thigh or right thigh up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach. Exhale, drawing, lifting back. Inhale one last time. Exhale, draw back and release the arms. Interlacing behind the back, so option to grab our strap and hold it here in between the hands or belt or whatever we grabbed here, or we can interlace if available in the shoulders. Let the knuckles reach down. Inhale, chest opens towards the sky. Exhale, pivot that right heel down, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. And then exhale, bowing forward, humble warrior. We can pause here, left shoulder stacked on top of that left knee, palms reaching towards the ceiling, or maybe diving into the challenge, into the tension. Allow that left shoulder to slide inside of the left thigh, crown of the head reaching down, gravity grabs the arms, pulling them overhead. Inhale, rising up, release the hands down. We're going to bring the left hand outside of the left foot. Inhale, come onto the ball of that right foot once more. And then coming either onto fingertips or maybe onto the block, we're coming into pyramid pose. Inhale, peel those left toes up off the mat as we extend down. So a bit of a balancing pyramid here on the ball of the right foot. Left heel, hands can be under the shoulders on blocks or on the mat. Inhale, finding length, draw that left leg deep into the hip. Exhale, bowing down. And then inhale, slowly peel that left foot back down, bending into the left knee, coming into our crescent lunge. And then a big step or a few steps, bring that right foot forward beside the left at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bowing down. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, palms come down, heart center. Repeating that flow on the other side, guys. Inhale, arms up overhead. Grab that right wrist with the left thumb and index. Inhale, gently pull the right arm up and over. Still grounding into both heels. Maybe even an added press down through that left leg, keeping length and strength on that left side. Inhale, come back to center. Release the right arm, but it stays up. Exhale, left arm sweeping back, left heel comes in towards the seat. Making any adjustments you might need, grabbing our strap, getting it looped. When you're ready and have that connection, inhale, opening the chest. Finding your dristi or gaze of intention, focus. Finding that immovable spot in the room to focus all of our attention to, our wandering mind. And then we start to bow forward, gently bringing that left knee up as we do. If and when you're ready, maybe it's not today, pressing that left foot into the left hand, opening up, countering that lifting and opening you just saw there. We don't want to press all the way back, so we might have to reach forward, countering by lowering the chest. That right leg is working hard here. And then inhale, slowly bring left knee forward in front. Interlace the fingers just below the knee, pulling it in. And then step back into our high lunge, arms overhead, big step back, ball of the left foot. Inhale, arms overhead, palms face forward once again. Exhale, draw elbows and shoulders back. That left thigh this time for reals is pulling up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drawing back. Trying to keep that 45-degree lean forwards, guys. One more. Exhale, draw elbows and shoulders back. Thigh lifts. Inhale, reaching up. This time we'll pivot that left heel down to warrior one first. And then exhale, float the hands down. Notice the dominant hand that always comes on top when we interlace. Can we change it up? Inhale, letting the knuckles pull down, gaze comes up. Keeping this open heart as we exhale, bowing forwards down into our warrior one. Shoulder can be on the knee or sliding down inside. Arms reaching overhead. Inhale, release the arms down, lifting that left heel so we're on the ball of the left foot. Exhale, gently pull the right leg back so the toes come up and we're just on the heel of the right leg, but it's extended. Maybe we need some extra space. Find that lift. Inhale, draw that right leg deeper into the hip. Exhale, softening down. Inhale, slowly peel that right foot back down, bending into the knee. And then a step or drag, bring that left foot forward beside the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the right foot back into plank, and then the left, downward facing dog. No vinyasa yet. You'll notice we haven't done any vinyasas yet. We're getting there. We'll get 2 in for you today. So here comes the chance to really explore and play in the body. Where can we take that opening shape to the furthest? Inhale, reach that right leg up. 3-legged down dog. Exhale, slowly coming forward into a more plank-like position. Bend the knee, rolling onto the outer edge of that left foot, coming down into wild thing. So on the ball of that right foot, inhale, pressing, lifting the hips up. And then rolling more onto the sole of that left foot, coming into a side plank position. Can we hover that right foot? Perhaps the right hand grabs behind the back, coming into that half bow. Inhale to extend, draw that right leg up. And then exhale, draw the knee down, coming into pigeon pose. Slide the hips down. Not coming all the way down yet. We're not coming into sleeping pigeon. So walk the hands a little bit closer towards the torso. We want to have a little bit of lift in the hips here. Instead of being anchored down, perhaps a block or towel under the hips. On an exhale, let's contract that hamstring. Draw the heel in towards us. One last time. Option to reach the left hand back with a strap or grabbing the pant leg. If we're feeling stable in the hips, we've got that scissoring lift, maybe right hand comes back as well. Inhale, pulling open the chest. And then releasing that left leg down. Then walk the arms forward. Coming down into pigeon. The sleeping version of our pigeon pose or Kapotasana. Getting some outer hip relief and stretch. And then inhale slowly, walking the hands back towards our seat, not quite as close though. Curl the left toes under. Inhale, lifting up, slide that right foot back, coming into downward facing dog. And here's our 1 of 2 vinyasas, but it's going to be a wavy vinyasa. So inhale, lifting the heels onto the toes. Slowly roll forward through our plank, and then let the hips sink down into your back bend. Toes stay curled under. Inhale and exhale here. And then our next exhale, slowly lifting the hips up and back, peeling back once more, downward facing dog. Let's have some fun exploring through our wild thing, knowing it can always come down into side plank as well, modified. Inhale, lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bending the knee from 3-legged down dog. We start to roll forwards over the hands, coming onto the outer edge of that right foot. Left ball of the foot touches down, lifting up. You can always bring that bottom knee down, keeping it in here in that same rounded shape of modified side plank, even going for that same grab down here, modified on the mat. If we were in our wild thing, rolling over as much onto the sole of that right foot as we can. Sweep the left arm back, grabbing the foot. Inhale, opening. And then exhale as we roll that left hand down. Bring that left knee down onto the mat. Pigeon pose here. Walking the hands a little bit closer towards the body, coming into that upright back bending version. On an exhale, contracting the hamstring, pulling that right leg in. Noticing if when you go to contract and pull in, the heel seems to be rolling us open. It's just a little bit of tightness in the hips. So I really invite you then to put a block or towel under the hips to be able to keep that straight line. The same side hand reaches back at first, right hand. and then maybe the left. You might notice one side has a bit more mobility or space available. Inhale, breathe into that space. We can press the shin into the hands, opening up. If you want to go for mermaid pose, bringing the foot into the elbow crease and left hand reaching overhead, please feel free. And then when you're ready, releasing the right leg down and walking the hands forward, coming into recline or sleeping pigeon. Knowing that the further we move the shin away from the body, the more intense the outer hip stretch will be. And then inhale, slowly rising back up, gently walking the hands in. Curl the right toes under. Inhale, lifting up, stepping back, downward facing dog, our almost last one. Going through our wavy vinyasa. Inhale, rolling forward, letting the hips come down, toes stay curled under. Breathing in and releasing the breath out here. Inhale one more time. Exhale, rolling over the toes, lifting up and back, downward facing dog. And then drop the knees down onto the mat. Big toes come to touch. And sink the hips back into a wide-legged child's pose. Arms remain extended overhead here. And allow your body to melt down in between the thighs. You can always place any padding under the head you need, but let's try to keep these arms extended, reaching overhead. Spine nice and flat, reaching forward. You can stay here if this is how you wish to end your practice. Or perhaps we can inhale, rising up, sliding the feet to one side, coming onto our seat, extending the legs forward, coming into Shavasana, the final pose of our practice, rolling the back down, soles of the feet fall open, palms along the sides facing up. Our anti-keyboard, anti-cell phone, anti-driving position. I invite you to take a deep inhale in, squeezing every muscle onto the bone, contracting so tight, holding it in, and then release. Letting the tension melt away. Letting relief flood into every cell of your body. Knowing that with the internet and social media, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed or flooded with all of this information, updates on people's statuses. Remembering this quote, that a ship does not sink because of the water around it. A ship sinks because the water gets into it. Do not allow yourself to become overwhelmed by what is going on around you and letting it get inside you and weigh you down. Thank you for joining me for this power Prana Vinyasa flow practice. I hope to see you back on your mat soon. Feel free to stay here as long as your day allows. Namaste, yogis.